stands. I don't know, it's hard to describe them without kind of taking it apart and showing you. But this is 3/4 inch coil thread rod, or no, this is 1 inch, I'm sorry. They call that 1 inch rod there. I made these little hand wheels out of a piece of 4-inch pipe and one of the nuts, and just put some spokes, just welded in some little spokes. Works pretty good. But I'll get this off here. I'll kind of show you how I did the tube here, or the pipe. But see, this T-handle here actually tightens against the rod, and the rod can come up that high before it hits a stop. And that's what's on the bottom of the rod, just a piece of 1 inch pipe, fits over it, welded in place. And I believe this is 1 1/4 or 1 1/2 inch, I can't remember. I'll have to measure it here and tell you. I believe that's 1 1/4 inch pipe, and there's another piece of 1 inch slipped inside of it and welded to keep it from coming out. So that way, if you grab a hold of your jack stand, you don't actually lose it. It doesn't pull apart. I hate it when you grab a hold of something and it don't go with you. But anyway, that's kind of the way built those. Also, another deal I built on this one was, I'll show you here in a sec. Let me go get it. So I'll show you here what I got now set up. Like I say, this is the nut you use to lift if you're leveling pipe up, or if you got something you're welding on you need to get leveled up. You put that on there. This is just a lock nut I use for the top, or the head up here at the top. And like I say, I got these plates, and I also built some, got spider webs on it. These are some V-block heads I built, and these go on top of there, and you can set pipe on there. I did have some rollers for them, but they never did work real good. And most of the time I found when you're welding pipe, it's, unless you're just doing really big stuff, I don't need the rollers that often. If you had a big string of pipe, you might, but we was usually just doing shorter runs. But let me show you something else here. So when I built these two stands, I built this one a little different than that one. I built them at the same time. They're identical, other than this piece here. And the reason I put this piece here on is, and this is not, I know this is not pipe, and but anyway, you can use these. You can tighten up, clamp down a piece of pipe, piece of square tubing, or anything you want there, and you can adjust it, loosen them up, adjust it. If you need to quickly adjust, you can back this off, loosen your chain a little bit, and tighten it back up. But anyway, that's handy for when you got a piece of pipe you're putting some 90s on, or something like that, where you don't want it to turn. But those are my two stationary stands. They're not quite as handy to move around. I've got some more here I'm going to show you. So these are some other stands I built back several years ago. These are probably 25 years old. I just use the square tubing, same pipe, same setup on the threads as I got on these other stands. And these are just actually a folding stand, and you can fold them flat. You've got a mid setting, and then you can set them all the way up for if you need to hold something up really high. But I just use a little bolt here and thread into the hole I drilled, and But otherwise, these are just like the other ones. I did take the time to build a little bit easier setup here on the, rather than using a lever, I use the wheels. But anyhow, this is just one of the things that makes welding a lot easier. I've got two of these, I've got two of those, so you can go out. I mean, these little round tables are super handy for working on trucks. I move it like if I'm working on an engine, I can set one or two of them over by the truck whenever I'm working on it. Pretty handy for tools. Sometimes they roll off, but this one has a slot. It's not quite so handy for tools, but this one's made for flanges. Bolting, you can bolt a flange to it. Comes in handy when you're fabricating some pipe stuff. But anyhow, that's just some ideas that if you're thinking about building some pipe stands, these are fairly simple to build, you know, especially the stationary ones. These are a little more complicated, require a lot of drilling, nuts, bolts, washers. But the threaded rod's the same on all of them. I mean, you can one thing I wish I'd have done on these, I did on the later ones, was this clamp, because it never fails. You get something just where you want it, and there's a little slop in these, so if you got that clamp, you can actually tighten that up against the rod, and it'll keep everything from moving quite so bad. But anyway, I just wanted to show you some of the tools I used to use a lot, and I still use these, don't get me wrong, but back when we were fabricating a lot of pipe and stuff, we would use them a bunch. And I never, you know, the store-bought ones are fine, but there's things about them I didn't like. I didn't like not being able to change attachments or put different things on here. I mean, when you get something like this, you can put, I mean, whatever you can dream of, you can put it on here. And it's just pretty handy to have. And you know, I'm sure I could build some different, this one here has actually been smashed. It got something laid over on it. And but these are just real simple. I mean, they're just angle iron, 1.5 inches by 1/4, and just did a miter cut, welded them together, welded a nut in the middle of them. And like I say, I wouldn't take the time to put rollers in them if I was doing it again. And actually, by having this slot here, comes in handy sometimes if you got a piece of pipe here and a piece of pipe here, and you need to make a weld in the middle. You can have them on the same stand, keep everything straight, and you can do a tack weld through here without having to have another stand. So just kind of a, I don't know, one of them deals that works out pretty handy. They need painted, but they get sit outside and in the rain. And like I say, these here, the foldable ones are real handy to have. Pretty easy to throw them on a truck and in the back pickup or whatever. The bigger ones, they mostly stay home, but they do go out occasionally. So anyway, I better get back to fixing my bike over here.